Hello and welcome to BTCC Works, and in this build series I am building this 400 horsepower 800 kilo old Swedish Mailtruck with a Volvo T5 engine. So this week's video update is going to be a little bit shorter than last week. Not as much happened as I wanted to, but things happened. So customer car is gone. The last one I worked on was Felix Ericsson's 850 BTCC replica. Gonna roll some tape now that I recorded when I finished that. And there it is, out in the sun, Felix's Volvo 850 BTCC replica. Well, it's not a replica yet because, well, it's green. But the cage is done, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. If you, for example, if you look behind the car, you can see all the tubes are nice and parallel and level to each other. The cross is nice and crossy and nice and in the middle. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, let's load the car up on the trailer so it can go home. It can be painted and, well, finished. This was a fun project. So it's worth all the burns on my arms and stuff.
I don't know how much I can turn.
Yeah, not much. And after Felix, I jumped back on Tjorven, put it back in the middle of the workshop, and I finished the fuel tank. So I got some shiny, nice parts from Scancut to replace all the. Before I had like individual nuts for each of these bolts, and that was undoable. So what I did was I laser cut some nice parts. Or they laser cut some nice parts for me. I designed them and then just received them. But there is now a ring with threaded holes underneath each circle thingy. And then the elephant in the room, this thing. This is kind of the last thing I did this week, but well, it's in the camera view very obviously. What I did was I made a fuel tank opening. It's gonna run straight down into that thing, and I am, well, couldn't finish it before the video, but I'm going to machine an opening that will weld to that little plate that's now just a block-off plate, and that will get a that will kind of look like this, but without the fuel cap, obviously. So it's just going to be a connection to that thing. And this is going to live right here. So, recap, the fuel cap that's there, that will go down with a hose, and well, will be a like almost symmetrical image of this will be on here. So it will be just this as a fuel filler hose. And then on this plate, there will be a rollover valve and a rollover / breathing valve. So, well, the fuel tank has to breathe. And then I can start driving. Tested the water system, that also works. Recorded a little clip when I got the car to run. Spoiler. But when I got the car to run, I let it run idle for I think like 15 minutes. And then water got up to temperature, everything's fine. So the only issue I had was when the thermostat opened, I could feel this hose getting warm up till here. And this is just a big air pocket. That's kind of like by design. Well, there's not really a design. This is just the way it is. So this points up. And well, you will always have a situation like this. So I'm probably going to make like a bleed valve here somewhere. Or figure something out, maybe do what's it called? A vacuum pooling. So I can like actually bleed the water system by pulling it into a vacuum or something. I don't know. I'll have but there's plenty of time to look into that. Because I only need it when I'm gonna like do full pool driving. Same goes with the intercooler cooling. That will also not be necessary for a while. Anyway, so when I had the fuel tank finished, I was like, yay, let's go start the car. And then it didn't start, like not at all. Well, the battery's gone now because I'm building a battery tray. So I can't demonstrate it right now, but you just believe me, turn to ignition, no click, nothing. So I had the starter relay, which is this one, as my main suspect. Changed it because I have plenty of spare relays laying around, didn't work. And then I spent 3 whole days, well, not like full days as in 24 hours, but 3 working days on trying to figure out why it didn't start. I kind of suspected the immobilizer, but it turned out to be not that, because when I remove the starter relay and jump these pins, normally this is like what a relay does, is like there's power coming to this pin, and as soon as it switches, it goes out to this pin, and it switches when there is power applied between those 2 pins. So as soon as power goes to one of these pins, this pin gets connected to that pin, goes to a wire, blah, 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 to the starter motor, and then the starter motor knows like, now I need to spin. So if I just jump this with a thin wire, it works fine. So what my plan is, for now, for next week, because next week is already the big show, I'm just going to put in a momentary button, like a button that always returns to off when you release the button. Anyway, so that's going to be my starting. Maybe it even fits like this. That would be funny. Let me see. Oh, no, the pin has to... Oh, okay, I need to make a short wire to get this fixed. That would have been funny if it just plugs in. Okay, that's that on the starter motor thing issues. And one thing I also did was I cut off the jack points that I made there and on the other side, obviously. They are now here in the spare metal bin, because I wasn't really happy, and I'm going to make a bar that runs out as soon as I know the final width of the car with the race wheels. They're going to be the widest, as you can probably tell from the picture. Then I'm going to run a bar like this, going straight, and that's kind of like a rocker panel. And that's where the wide body will, that's like the end of the wide body. That's that. Godverdomme. So, and another update. I just said before that Felix's car was the last one I worked on. That's not completely true. I had this building company van that was damaged during a, I don't know what, something happened. They had to repaint the side of the car, and they wanted me to reapply the decals on the side. So I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, and this made this project to turn into this like nightmare project. Not nightmare as in like I hurt myself or whatever, but just mostly a financial nightmare. So I didn't make any money on this project. I actually lost money on this project. And what happened was this. So it was a big van. It was so big it couldn't even fit here in the workshop by a few centimeters. So I found my friend Mark had a CrossFit gym, and I could park the car there inside. So I did most of the stickers there. But then there was this. And it's kind of hard to see because there's application tape on the side of the van. And I'll insert some B-roll. There is this big, these long stripes. And this is like only these stripes. The rest was like no issue at all, but these stripes were the big issue. So what happened? The shortest part of these stripes was 2.5 meters long, which is whatever feet. I'll just use a calculator and put it in the screen now. Anyway, so I cut that on my machine, and I couldn't get it to line up. And that, like, if you take something that's like this narrow and it's double layered. So this is orange vinyl applied to black vinyl. And if you start plotting here and you were like 1/10 of a degree off on this side, then 2.5 meters further down the line, you're like a few millimeters or even like a few centimeters off. So we couldn't get this to line up. Then I called my friend. He works at a professional rep company in Urbu. he tried to help me out. This was his result, a lot better than I could accomplish, but even he couldn't get it done. And then we decided to print. Issue there is that like this printed film needs to dry at least like 24 hours or something. And we couldn't get the van to be finished. And the customer didn't mind, but I did mind because, well, work van, it earns money if it works and not if it's in my workshop. So it was kind of a bummer, but in the end, we managed to fix it at the wrap store in Örebro. So I'm really happy. And also now for bigger projects like this, I have a very trustworthy partner to work together with. So conclusion, a bit of more than I could chew, but I learned a lot. That's also worth money, I think. And I got a new partner from it. So that's, and it's really nice guys. So I'm really happy with that. So yeah. On that bombshell, I'm gonna continue working on Tjorven. I wanna have this this fuel filler cap surround thing finished. I scanned it, and it's the 3D printer is chewing it out now, so that's good. And then I'm gonna try to finish the car. Well, not finish as in like completely finished, but get it ready for Elmia next week. Elmia Custom Motor Show is the biggest car event in Sweden. I think it should be the biggest. Or I think it is the biggest, I don't know by numbers, but it's one of the biggest at least. And it's kind of comparable to SEMA in America. So it's the Swedish version of SEMA, so to say. I will be there with the car. I have sticker packs for sale. You can, if you come there, you can look at the at Tjorven, ask me questions, talk to me, buy merch, get good discounts on the web shop. And if you can't wait for the discount, or if you can't make it to Elmia, well, links in description, and buy some merch so you make sure that I can move on with Tjorven. Thanks for watching and see you next week.